Hello, my name is Sophia. I want to tell you about my journey. I was once scared to speak English, but then I found a way to talk about my daily life in simple English. Now, English feels like a part of me. I want to share how I made my daily routine a tool to speak better English. At the beginning, I was very scared to speak English. I thought I would make many mistakes, and people might laugh at me. But then I found a simple way to start. I began talking to myself every morning. Yes, I talk to myself in English, and it helped me a lot. Every day when I wake up, the first thing I do is open my eyes and say, "Good morning, Sophia." At first, it felt strange. I was alone and I was talking to myself. I thought maybe I was a little crazy, but slowly, I learned that this small act was very powerful. When I said good morning to myself, it was like waking up my English inside me. It was a way to say, today I will practice English. Today I will try to be better. After saying good morning, I started to describe what I was doing. For example, while brushing my teeth, I said quietly, "I am brushing my teeth now." When I washed my face, I said, "I wash my face. It feels clean and fresh." I spoke slowly with simple words. Sometimes I repeated the same sentence many times. At first, I used very short sentences because my English was not good yet. But repeating them made me feel stronger. I remember one morning when I looked in the mirror and spoke clearly. I wake up at 6 a.m., I make my bed. I brush my teeth. Saying these words out loud felt like a small victory. It was not about the words themselves, but about doing something every day. Doing this made me feel proud. I was training my brain and my mouth to speak English. The mirror became my friend. The reflection was like a teacher, helping me learn without pressure. At the beginning, I did not care about making mistakes. I only cared about trying. Sometimes I forgot the words or mixed them up. Sometimes I said brush when I meant wash. But I laughed at myself and tried again. This made me feel less afraid. I learned that mistakes are not bad. They are part of learning. Talking to myself every morning helped me build confidence. I started to enjoy the small moments when I spoke English alone. It became a habit. Even when I felt tired or busy, I took a minute to say a few sentences. It was my way to connect with English every day. This small practice gave me the courage to speak English with other people later. One day, I added more words to my morning talk. Instead of saying I brush my teeth, I said, "I brush my teeth with my toothbrush." I described more details. This helped me remember new words. I also learned to speak slower and clearer. My voice was not loud, but it was confident. Sometimes I recorded myself on my phone. I listened to my voice and noticed where I needed to improve. This helped me find my mistakes and fix them. I was my own teacher and student. I didn't need a classroom or a big group of people. My room was my school, and my mirror and phone were my tools. After a few weeks, I felt different. Speaking English became less scary. I noticed that I could say more words and longer sentences. My mind started to think in English during the morning routine. This was a big change. Before, I had to translate from my native language in my head, but now I spoke naturally. My morning talk also helped me remember the words I learned from books, videos, or lessons. When I said those words in the morning, they became part of my everyday life. I didn't forget them anymore. I was not just learning English. I was living English. One important thing I learned was patience. Learning a language takes time. At first, I wanted to speak perfectly, but I realized that perfect is not the goal. Speaking every day, even with mistakes, was more important. Every day I practiced, I was closer to my goal. This routine also made me more positive. Starting the day with simple English sentences gave me hope. It was like telling myself, "You can do this." I became more motivated to learn English in other parts of my day, too. I also started noticing things in my room and naming them in English. For example, I said, "This is my bed. It is soft." Or, "My window is open. I can see the sky." Talking about objects helped me learn new words naturally. At night, I remembered my morning talk and felt proud of my progress. I looked forward to waking up the next day and speaking English again. This simple morning habit was the first step to my confidence in English. It was small but very strong. From this small start, I was ready to do more. And the best part? The next step was just around the corner. After my morning talk, I moved to the kitchen to eat breakfast. This was another chance to practice English. I started using English words while making and eating my food. Just like waking up, my breakfast time became a new moment for English. I still remember the first time I said, "Now I am making breakfast." It felt exciting. I could not wait to tell you what happened next. After my morning talk in front of the mirror, I walked to the kitchen feeling a little more confident than before. The kitchen was quiet and calm, filled with the soft light of early morning. I opened the fridge and looked inside. As I stood there, I reminded myself, "Now I am making breakfast." Saying these words softly made me feel focused. I was ready to practice my English with every little action I took in the kitchen. Breakfast was an important part of my day. I knew I had to eat, but I also wanted to use this time to learn English better. So I began describing everything I did, just like I did in the morning. I said, "I take the eggs from the fridge. The eggs are white and smooth." I held the eggs carefully in my hands and looked at their shape. Saying these words helped me notice the details around me and gave me new ideas to speak English. Next, I took some bread from the box. "This bread is brown and soft," I said. I imagined I was telling a story to someone who could not see the food. Talking like this made the practice interesting and real. I even touched the bread and felt the softness as I spoke about it. I placed the eggs and bread on the counter and opened a small carton of milk. "The milk is cold and fresh," I whispered. Slowly, I began to use more adjectives, words that describe things, because it made my English better and more colorful. At first, I only knew simple words, but I was eager to learn new ones. I tried to make simple sentences like, "I like eggs for breakfast. Eggs give me energy." I repeated the sentence again and again. Sometimes I changed the words to learn new ways to say the same thing. For example, I said, "Eggs are good for me." They help me feel strong. Each time I said these sentences, I felt my English skills growing. While I prepared my breakfast, I also thought about the actions. I said, "I cracked the eggs into the bowl." "I beat the eggs with a fork." I pretended I was teaching someone how to make breakfast. This made my sentences longer and helped me practice more words. Sometimes I paused to remember the names of kitchen tools. I looked at my fork and said, "This is a fork. It has 4 small parts called prongs." I smiled at how much I was learning just by paying attention to the things around me. As I cooked the eggs, I described every step. "The pan is hot." I pour the eggs into the pan. "The eggs are cooking." I even listened to the sound of the eggs frying and said, "The eggs sizzle and make a soft sound." Using my senses, sight, touch, and hearing, helped me find many new words to speak. After the eggs were ready, I put them on a plate and added a slice of bread. I said, "My breakfast is ready. It looks delicious." I sat at the table and started eating slowly. While chewing, I kept talking softly to myself. "The eggs taste good. The bread is soft and warm." Eating while speaking English felt strange at first, but I found it was one of the best ways to practice. I was using English not only to talk, but also to enjoy my food. This made me feel happy and relaxed. I also made a small list of new words during breakfast time. I wrote words like egg, bread, milk, fork, pan, cook, hot, cold, soft, and delicious. Each day I added 1 or 2 words to my list. Then, I used those words to make simple sentences. This helped me remember them better. One day I tried to learn some new action words or verbs. I said, I crack the eggs. I pour the milk. I spread butter on the bread. Saying these verbs helped me speak more naturally. Before I only used nouns, names of things. But now, I was making real sentences with actions. I also began to practice question words during breakfast. I asked myself, what do I eat today? And answered, I eat eggs and bread. Sometimes I asked, how do I make breakfast? And then told myself the steps. Asking and answering questions made me think in English more clearly. My breakfast time became a fun game. I challenged myself to say 5 new sentences every day. Some days I spoke slowly. Other days I tried to speak faster. This variety kept me interested and motivated. I noticed that when I focused on describing my breakfast, I was not thinking about being perfect. I was just enjoying the moment and learning. This was very important because fear of mistakes had stopped me before. One morning, I even recorded my breakfast talk on my phone. I listened carefully to my voice and tried to improve. Sometimes I noticed I said broad instead of bread, or book instead of book. Hearing myself helped me fix those mistakes. With time, I felt proud that I could talk about my breakfast in English without help. I was not fluent yet, but I was speaking better every day. My kitchen had become a classroom, and my food was my teacher. I started to look forward to breakfast. Time not only for eating, but also for speaking English. It was like a small adventure every morning. I learned to enjoy simple words and sentences that I never thought were important before. Sometimes I invited my family to listen to my English talk. They smiled and encouraged me. Their support made me feel even stronger. I realized that sharing my journey helped me keep going. In addition to breakfast, I also used this time to think about healthy habits. I said, eating breakfast helps me have energy. I want to be healthy and strong. These positive thoughts gave me motivation to continue. Sometimes I used pictures from the internet or books to learn new breakfast words. I looked at pictures of fruits, cereals, and drinks, and tried to say their names in English. This added variety to my practice and helped me learn new words quickly. I learned that practice does not have to be boring. It can be fun and creative. By using my breakfast time, I was making English part of my life without feeling like I was studying hard. One day, I even imagined talking to a friend about my breakfast. I said, I made eggs and toast today. It was delicious. What did you eat? Practicing conversations like this prepared me for real talks with people. I also noticed how my vocabulary was growing. I started to use words like scrambled eggs, toast, butter, coffee, and juice. These words made my English more natural. When I finished eating, I cleaned the kitchen and talked about it too. I said I washed the dishes. I put the plates away. Speaking while doing chores made my English practice longer and more useful. After breakfast, I felt ready for the day. I was not just full of food, but full of new words and sentences. My confidence was growing with every word I spoke. Looking back, I know that talking about breakfast was more than just practicing English. It was building my habit of using English every day in every small moment. From waking up and talking to myself to preparing and eating breakfast, I was creating a path to speak better English. It was simple, real, and easy to do. And this was only the beginning. Next, I took my practice outside. After breakfast, I loved to walk and look at the world around me. I kept talking in English, describing everything I saw. Walking outside was a new challenge, but also a new chance to learn. I was excited to tell you how I used my daily walks to improve my English. After finishing my breakfast and cleaning the kitchen, I felt ready to go outside for a walk. The morning sun was warm and the sky was a clear blue. I put on my shoes and stepped outside my front door. The fresh air felt good on my face. I took a deep breath and said to myself, "Now I am outside. I am going to look around and speak in English." Going outside was different from being inside the house. There were so many new things to see and say. At first, it felt a little scary. I worried I might forget words or sound strange. But I reminded myself, this is practice. It is okay to make mistakes. I wanted to be brave and use this chance to improve. I started by looking at my own neighborhood. I saw the green grass on the lawn and the tall trees swaying gently in the wind. I said out loud, "The grass is green and soft. The trees are tall and strong. The wind moves the leaves." Talking like this helped me pay attention to details that I normally didn't notice. As I walked down the street, I described everything I saw. I said, "There is a big red car parked near the house. The car is clean and shiny." I smiled when I saw a dog playing in the yard. The dog is brown and white. It runs fast and wags its tail. I enjoyed making simple sentences about the animals, plants, and objects around me. Sometimes I stopped to look at flowers. I noticed their colors, yellow, pink, purple, and said, "The flowers are bright and beautiful. They smell sweet." Talking about flowers made me feel calm and happy. When I reached the park, I saw children playing on the swings. I said, "The children are happy. They laugh and shout. The swings go back and forth." I tried to imagine what the children might say if I talked to them in English. This helped me practice conversations in my mind. I also looked at the birds flying in the sky. I said, "The birds fly high and sing songs. Their feathers are white and gray." I listened carefully to their sounds and tried to repeat some bird songs softly. This was fun and helped me practice listening and speaking. While walking, I used my phone to take pictures of things I wanted to remember. Later, I could look at the photos and say the names of the things in English. This was a good way to learn new words and practice speaking at the same time. Sometimes I met neighbors while walking. I smiled and said, "Hello, how are you?" Even if I was shy. This small greeting made me feel more confident. I wanted to speak more with people, but I knew I needed to practice first. I also looked at the sky and the clouds. I said, "The sky is blue today. The clouds are white and soft. They look like cotton." Describing the sky helped me use new words and feel peaceful. When I saw a bicycle leaning against a tree, I said, "The bicycle is red. It has 2 big wheels. It looks fast." I imagined riding the bicycle and saying, "I am riding a red bicycle." This helped me create sentences that felt real and useful. Sometimes I made stories in my mind about what I saw. For example, I saw a little bird building a nest in a tree. I said, "The bird is working hard. It carries small sticks to build a home." Making stories helped me use my imagination and practice English at the same time. I noticed that the more I spoke, the easier it became. At first, I had to think a lot before saying words. But after some time, words came faster. I was proud of my progress. Sometimes I used a small notebook to write down new words I heard or thought about. For example, I wrote words like tree, bird, grass, flower, car, bicycle, and park. Writing helped me remember these words better. I also tried to learn some new verbs while walking. I said I walk slowly. I look carefully. I listen to sounds. Using action words helped me speak more naturally. When I passed by a small cafe, I looked at the people sitting outside. I said, "The people drink coffee. They talk and smile." I imagined asking them, "Can I sit with you? I want to practice English." This made me feel more comfortable with the idea of speaking to strangers. I noticed sounds around me too. I said, "I hear birds singing. I hear cars passing. I hear children laughing." Listening carefully helped me understand English better. Sometimes I stopped to rest on a bench. I looked around and described the scene. The bench is made of wood. It is brown and smooth. I sit and feel the sun on my face. I spoke slowly and clearly, enjoying the moment. I also practiced asking questions in my mind. I asked, "What is that? Where is the bird going? Who is playing in the park?" Then I answered the questions myself. This exercise made my thinking faster and more English-like. I remembered to smile and be patient with myself. Learning a language takes time, and every little step counts. I was happy that I was using my daily routine to practice English without extra pressure. As I walked back home, I repeated some of the new sentences I learned. The flowers are bright. The birds fly high. I'm learning English every day. Saying these sentences gave me hope and strength. When I reached my door, I felt proud. I had spoken English outside for the first time. This was a big step for me. I realized that using English in real life was different from studying in a book, but also more exciting. I told myself, tomorrow I will walk again and find new things to talk about. This made me look forward to the next day. Stepping outside to describe what I saw had opened a new world for me. I was learning to use English naturally in my own life. This was my way to make English a part of me. Now I was ready for my next challenge. After walking, I loved to watch videos and listen to English songs. This helped me hear how native speakers talked and helped my ears get used to English sounds. I was excited to share how watching and listening became part of my daily routine, helping me improve even more. After my walks outside, where I practiced describing everything I saw in English, I felt more confident. But I knew one important thing. Speaking English with friends was very different. When I talked alone, I had all the time to think and say my sentences. But with friends, conversations happen fast. And I needed to learn how to keep up and speak naturally. One day, I decided to invite my friend Mia to help me practice. Mia was someone who also wanted to improve her English, and I felt safe with her because she was patient and kind. I called her and said, "Mia, let's talk in English together. We can help each other." She was happy to say yes. We planned to meet at a quiet cafe near our homes. I felt nervous but also excited. When we met, I said hello to Mia with a big smile and said, "Hello, Mia. How are you today?" Mia smiled back and said, "I'm good. Let's practice English." At first, it was slow. We talked about simple things like the weather and what we did during the day. I said, "Today I walked outside and saw many birds." Mia said, "That's nice. I saw a big dog at the park." We took turns speaking and listening carefully. Talking with Mia helped me in many ways. First, I learned how to ask questions. For example, I asked, "What do you like to do on weekends?" Mia answered, "I like to watch movies and listen to music." Then I tried to say the same about myself. I like to read books and walk outside. This simple exchange gave me practice in both asking and answering. Sometimes Mia and I made mistakes, but we laughed and helped each other fix them. For example, I said, "I go to the store yesterday," and Mia gently corrected me. It's "I went to the store yesterday." I thanked her and repeated the sentence correctly. It was good to learn this way because mistakes are part of learning. We also practiced common phrases used in everyday conversations. Mia taught me how to say, "Can you help me?" And "I don't understand, can you explain?" These phrases made me feel ready to speak with more people in the future. Talking with Mia was not just about words, but about listening too. Sometimes Mia talked quickly, and I didn't understand everything. I learned to ask her to speak slowly by saying, "Can you say that again, please?" Or, "Can you speak slowly?" She was happy to do that. This made me feel more comfortable to ask for help when I needed it. To make our practice more fun, Mia and I played games. We used flashcards with English words and tried to make sentences using those words. Sometimes we told short stories, helping each other with vocabulary and grammar. These games made learning less stressful and more enjoyable. When we met, we also talked about our goals. I told Mia, I want to speak English easily like a native speaker. Mia shared her goal too. I want to travel to the United States and talk with people. Sharing our goals motivated us both to keep practicing every day. We also practiced different types of conversations. For example, we pretended to be in a restaurant. I asked Mia, "Can I have a coffee, please?" Mia answered, "Yes, here is your coffee." Then we switched roles. This role play helped me learn useful sentences for real-life situations. Sometimes Mia invited other friends to join us. Talking with more people was a little harder but also exciting. I learned how to listen to different voices and how to take turns in group conversations. This was a big step for me because group talks happen often in real life. I also learned about body language and facial expressions while talking. Mia showed me how smiling and nodding helped keep conversations friendly. I practiced these too, and I noticed that people responded more positively to me. After many meetings with Mia and friends, I noticed big changes. I spoke more smoothly and understood more when others talked. I was less afraid of making mistakes because I knew everyone makes mistakes when learning. One day, Mia and I decided to record our conversations. Listening to the recordings helped me find words I needed to improve. I heard when I said something wrong or when I forgot a word. This was a little hard at first, but I knew it would help me get better. Practicing together also taught me patience. Sometimes I wanted to speak perfectly, but I learned that progress takes time. Mia reminded me, "Keep trying, Sophia. You are doing great." Her support was important. Talking with friends made English learning feel less lonely. It was fun to share stories, laugh at mistakes, and celebrate small successes together. We made a routine to meet twice a week, which helped me stay motivated. Besides speaking, we practiced listening by watching short English videos together and discussing them. We talked about the story, characters, and new words. This practice helped improve my understanding and gave me more things to talk about. When I was alone, I tried to remember the conversations with Mia. I practiced sentences from our talks and thought about what I could say better next time. This helped me prepare for future conversations. Sometimes I used my phone to chat with Mia in English. Even writing messages helped me learn new words and expressions. I liked that English was becoming part of my daily life. One challenge was feeling shy at times. When new people joined our group, I felt nervous. But I reminded myself, everyone is here to learn. It is okay to be shy. I tried to smile and say simple sentences. This helped me get more comfortable. Another important thing I learned was how to ask for help when I didn't understand something. Saying, "Oh, can you explain?" Or "What does this mean?" helped me learn faster and showed others that I wanted to improve. Practicing with friends also made me realize that learning English is not only about speaking but about connecting with others. We shared our cultures, stories, and dreams through English. This made learning more meaningful. Sometimes Mia and I planned special activities like going to English language events, or watching movies with English subtitles. These activities gave me real experience using English outside practice sessions. Through talking with friends, I also learned new words that books didn't teach me. For example, slang words, expressions, and idioms that people use in daily conversations. This helped me understand native speakers better. I felt proud of myself when I could hold a conversation without stopping or looking up words too much. These moments gave me confidence to keep going. Talking with friends made English learning a shared journey. We supported each other through ups and downs, and that made me feel I was not alone. Looking back, I see how much I improved by practicing with friends. It gave me real chances to speak, listen, ask questions, and make mistakes in a safe space. Now, I look forward to every chance I get to talk with people in English. I know that every conversation helps me get closer to my goal of speaking. English naturally and confidently. From here, I am ready for the next step in my journey. Using technology to learn English every day. Watching videos, listening to songs, and using apps have become important parts of my routine, and I can't wait to share how they helped me. After a day full of talking, learning new words, practicing with friends, and exploring English around me, I always made sure to end my day with quiet time just for myself. This time was very important to me because it helped me think about what I learned, what I did well, and what I could do better the next day. I found that reflection gave me more strength and motivation to keep going on my English journey. Every night before going to bed, I sat quietly in my room with my notebook and a pen. This was my special moment to review my day. I thought about all the conversations I had, the words I learned, and the mistakes I made. I remembered talking with Mia and how we laughed at silly errors but learned from them. Thinking about these moments made me feel proud, even if I still had a long way to go. I like to write down new words and sentences that I heard during the day. Writing helped me remember better. Sometimes I drew pictures or made small notes about how to use the words. For example, if I learned the word delicious when Mia said her breakfast was delicious, I wrote the word and a simple sentence like, "The cake is delicious." Writing like this made learning more fun and easier. Reflection was also about understanding my feelings. Some days, I felt tired or frustrated when I forgot words or couldn't understand fast speech. Other days, I felt happy and excited when I spoke clearly or understood new things. Writing about these feelings helped me see that ups and downs were normal in learning. I also thought about the goals I had set with Mia and myself. Did I practice enough? Did I speak with new people? Did I watch English videos or listen to songs? Sometimes I realized I could do more, so I made a note to try harder tomorrow. Other times I celebrated small wins, like using a new phrase correctly or having a longer conversation. These small successes made me feel I was improving step by step. After reflection, I planned my next day's English learning. Planning gave me clear steps to follow so I wouldn't feel lost or unsure. For example, I decided which words to practice, what conversations to try, or which videos to watch. Having a plan made my learning focused and less stressful. I used simple lists to organize my plan. One list was about speaking. For example, I wrote, "Talk with Mia about movies," or describe breakfast in English. Another list was about listening, like watch one video about daily routines or listen to one English song. These lists helped me balance speaking, listening, reading, and writing skills. Sometimes I also planned to try new things. For example, I wanted to join an English club online or find a language partner to practice with. I wrote these ideas in my notebook so I wouldn't forget. Planning new activities gave me excitement and a goal to look forward to. Before sleeping, I also like to say a few sentences out loud to myself. This was a quiet speaking practice to end the day. I said simple things like, "Today, I learned many new words," or "Tomorrow, I will practice speaking more." Saying these sentences helped me feel ready for the next day and gave me confidence. My bedtime reflection and planning were like a daily ritual. It gave me peace of mind and reminded me that learning English is a journey, not a race. Some days would be better, some harder, but every day mattered. I found that reflection helped me remember mistakes in a positive way. Instead of feeling bad, I thought, what can I learn from this mistake? For example, if I mixed up the words buy and borrow, I wrote it down and practiced the difference. This way, mistakes became lessons. Planning also helped me stay organized and motivated. Sometimes when I didn't have a plan, I felt lost and didn't practice well. But with a clear plan, I felt more confident about my progress. I also realized that ending my day with reflection was a time to be kind to myself. Learning a language is not easy, and I learned to celebrate my efforts, not just the results. I reminded myself, I am trying my best, and that is good. Sometimes I shared my reflections with Mia. We talked about our challenges and successes. This sharing made me feel connected and supported. It was nice to know I was not alone in this journey. One evening, I wrote about a day when I spoke for the first time to a stranger in English. I felt nervous but proud. Writing about this gave me courage to try again and again. Reflection helped me keep these memories alive and use them to build confidence. Before sleep, I sometimes listened to calm English audio, like a bedtime story or soft music with English words. This relaxed me and made me comfortable with hearing English even while resting. I also kept a small box where I put notes with new words or phrases I learned that day. This box was a fun way to collect my progress. Looking at these notes before sleeping reminded me how far I had come. Reflection and planning also helped me handle days when I felt stuck or tired. On those days, I wrote about my feelings and reminded myself why I started learning English. This helped me stay motivated. Through reflection, I learned to appreciate the small things. A new word learned, a better pronunciation, a longer conversation, or simply the courage to try. These small steps added up to big progress over time. My bedtime routine became a peaceful time for me, to connect with my English journey and myself. It gave me hope and energy for tomorrow. And so every night, I end my day by looking back with kindness and looking forward with hope. This simple habit keeps me moving forward and makes learning English a joyful part of my daily life. Now, with all these steps, waking up and talking to myself, learning new words at breakfast, describing the world outside, practicing with friends, and ending my day with reflection and planning, I feel that my English is growing stronger every day. I'm excited to keep going and see where this journey will take me. As I sit here and think about my journey learning English by talking about my daily routine, I feel very grateful for all the small steps I took every single day. At the beginning, I was shy and scared. Speaking English felt hard. I was afraid I would make mistakes, or people would not understand me. But slowly, day by day, I learned that the key was to just start talking, even if it was only to myself. The very first step, waking up and speaking to myself, was so simple but powerful. Every morning when the world was quiet, I spoke out loud about my feelings, my plans, and the things I saw around me. At first, I used very simple sentences like, "Good morning, Sophia," or "Today is a good day." But doing this made me feel brave. It was like waking up my English mind along with my body. I stopped worrying about being perfect and just enjoyed using words. This helped me build confidence because I learned that speaking English is not about being perfect. It is about expressing yourself. From there, I moved on to learning new words during breakfast. This was a fun and tasty part of my routine. I started to describe the food I ate, the colors, the tastes, and the smells. For example, I would say, "The toast is crunchy," or "The orange juice is sweet." Talking about simple things made me realize that English is everywhere, even in small moments like eating breakfast. I also wrote down new words and phrases I learned each day. This helped me remember them better. Learning words this way made my vocabulary grow slowly but surely, and it gave me the tools to talk about more things. Then came the time to go outside and describe what I saw. This was exciting because I got to connect English with the world around me. I looked at trees, cars, birds, people, and even the sky. I described their colors, shapes, and movements. I learned how to say, "The sky is blue and bright," or "The dog is running fast." This helped me practice new words and sentences, and it made English feel real and alive. It was not just words in a book. It was a language I could use to understand and share my world. This step also helped me pay attention to details and think in English, which is very important for fluency. One of the best parts of my journey was talking with friends and practicing together. This step made learning fun and less lonely. I practiced with Mia and some new friends I met online. We shared stories about our days, asked questions, and corrected each other gently. Sometimes we laughed at funny mistakes, but that made us feel closer and more relaxed. I learned that mistakes are not bad. They are part of learning. Practicing with friends helped me speak more naturally and gave me courage to talk to new people. It also showed me that speaking English is not just about words. It's about connection, sharing feelings, and building friendships. Finally, ending my day by reflecting and planning tomorrow became my favorite habit. This quiet time helped me look back at what I learned and how I felt. I wrote about new words, tricky sentences, and moments when I felt proud. I also wrote down goals for the next day. This made me feel organized and motivated. Planning gave me a clear path to follow, so I never felt lost. Reflecting helped me see mistakes as lessons and celebrate small victories. It was like giving myself a little gift of kindness and encouragement every night. Looking back at these steps, I realized that learning English by talking about my daily routine was not just about language. It was about growing as a person. It taught me patience, confidence, and joy in small progress. I learned that fluency is a journey, not a race. Every day, I plant seeds of English words and sentences, and with care and time, these seeds grow into strong skills. If you want to learn English, I want to share what I have learned. Start with small steps and be kind to yourself. Don't wait to be perfect before you speak. Talk to yourself, describe your day, share with friends, and take time to think about your progress. English is not just for classrooms. It is for living, sharing, and connecting. The more you use it, the more it becomes part of you. Remember, everyone makes mistakes. That is okay. Mistakes are proof that you are trying and learning. Celebrate your efforts, no matter how small. Speak with courage, listen with patience, and practice every day. With time, you will see your English grow. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it inspires you to start your own journey with daily English. I am Sophia, and I am still learning, still growing, and still excited about the possibilities that speaking English brings.